When I moved to the city of Bradford when I was 18, where I live now, I mean, back in those days it was very hard to hear proper reggae music. You had to go and really listen to a sound system, or maybe you could hear in a record shop if there was one there. And in my city back in those days there was a record shop called Roots Records. So I started working there in 1985 until the beginning of 1988. So I really learned a lot. The guy running the shop, he was a Jamaican guy. And yeah, I was there like every day and everything, learning about the music, selling music. And after that, they start calling me ROOTSMAN. So that's how I got this name. I wouldn't have chosen this name, to be honest, but that's what they call me, ROOTSMAN, because from Roots Record Shop.
Play by #1 champion.
Well, for me, back in the early 1990s, I started to listen to a lot of Oriental music and Arab music, particularly from North Africa, like Morocco and Algeria, rhyme music from Algeria in particular, and classical Egyptian and Lebanese music. And then I started to, I wasn't releasing records then, I was just making dub plates for sound system. So I started sampling from Oriental music. When I made my first album, which came out in 1995, In Dub We Trust, I was using a lot of influences and samples from Arab music. Anyway, that album came out, and then a friend of mine who was working in a record store somewhere, he introduced me to this character called Bryn Jones, who was known as Muslim Gauze. He was an underground cult artist in the UK, making music that was very, very hard to listen to, very hard beats, very kind of off-kilter beats, discordant rhythms, but very political, especially for the Palestinian struggle against Israeli oppression. And for me, on my first album, I had a song called Intifada. So already back then I was totally for the Palestinians. So we got together, made some stuff, and worked together for a little bit. In fact, I was the only person to work with Muslim Gauze in his short career, because in January 1999 he died. Unfortunately, it was a tragic loss for music and also for myself personally, because he was a really big influence on me and a great artist. Electronic music has been central to everything I've produced, but actually I don't like electronic music for the most part, because I find often it doesn't have much soul to it. The thing I really liked about electronics was getting a sampler, and back in those days it was very expensive to have a sampler, and the level of memory time was insanely low. When I did my first album, I think the memory on my sampler was 1 megabyte, which was something like 8 seconds of sample time. But it meant that you could take stuff from other music and incorporate it, Arabian strings, beats from India, you know, anything from around the world, and try to create something new, but always the dub was the foundation of everything. So yeah, my stuff always was a mixture of real instruments and electronic sampling.
Guys, we come rough every time.
So I've always incorporated political statements in my music. We have to look in a bigger picture than that, and look what's happening in the world, and look at which countries are doing bad stuff and oppressing their human rights. For example, I refuse for my music to be sold in Israel. But in reality, how much change does it really make? Probably not a lot, but at the same time, I wish there was more social conscious message in music. I'm more interested in something like, you know, struggles for freedom, struggles for human rights, struggles for political rights. This is more important than just some, I was going to say, kind of bullshit cliches which are in reggae and dub, to be honest. So I like the Palestinians, I like the Lebanese, the Iraqis, the Syrians who are fighting against the imperialists. I love Zapatista. There's people that are really doing something proper rather than just talking. There's a lack of identity from artists within it. For me, it was all about doing what I thought was true to myself. you know, and that's what I think everybody should be doing. In every genre of music or every genre of whatever, people often talk about unity, but in reality there's not much unity. If you really believe in that, you have to find the right people, either in your city or in other cities or other countries, good people, honest people, respectful people, and work with them. And for me, it's never about money. If people are really honest about unity, that's good. I really am happy for that. From my heart, I really hope that we can create a better world where we respect. I always prefer when the people are really close to me and I could feel a connection with them and an intimate connection. Actually, I like to be just with the people on the ground. Well, actually, I retired from music in 2004. So my label closed then, and even though some stuff still came out until maybe 2006, I didn't make any music, and I moved on to doing other creative stuff, mainly photography, which is my main thing right now. But I did start working on some new stuff with a producer from my city called Inspirational Sound. So we just released a mini LP called Inspirational Sound Meets the Rootsman Up North, because we live up north in England, and the title is a play on King Tubby Meets the Rockers Uptown, for those who might know what that album is, because it's the greatest dub album ever made, which came out in something like 1975, I think. Augustus Pablo produced it. So yeah, actually my label is closed, it will stay closed. I've been producing some new music. We'll see if anything else will come out, but you know, I'm not really doing much anymore. This is my only show in 2018 in Mexico. If somebody asks me and it's an interesting place, I will go, but generally I'm not really playing or producing much anymore, so we'll see.
Folks, this is Lakshmi again. Thank you so much for being with us today. We do hope that you have enjoyed the experience. Please look out for more wonderful dubwise vibes from Rootsman and the Third Eye crew in the future. Please do not hesitate to buy more of our records, and you can contact us by email. Salam alaikum, shalom and peace to you all.